Hi guys, welcome back or welcome to my YouTube channel. Today's video we are talking about some scary games that you should never play. This is the first of many types of this video because I wanted to start this like urban legend type of series on this channel. So yeah, I thought this one would be really interesting to talk about, and I got most of this information from Creepypasta, by the way. The first game that we're talking about is you should absolutely never play because it involves breaking and entering. You have to break into a church. It's called the Devil Game, and you're basically contacting the devil for a game of questions and answers. So you have to break into a church at midnight. It says it's like best if you play on a full moon or Friday the 13th or Halloween, but you're not supposed to play on Christmas Eve. But it doesn't make a huge difference. So to play the Devil Game, you need to be in a church. Like I said, any room in the church works as long as it's completely empty and you're the only person in there. You have to start the game at midnight, and to play it, you need a full-length body mirror. You need a red string, rope, anything that you can tie around the mirror, a can of salt, 7 candles, preferably being red or white, and something to light the candles, of course. You can't have any sort of like religious stuff to protect you, like you can't bring like a Bible or anything like that. And it says that you can't have cross earrings on, which you're in a church, so you're gonna be surrounded by that stuff anyway, but whatever. You also can't bring in any technology or anything like that. You can't have anything to tell time, which is important later, and you also can't have a cell phone or anything like that. You have to leave it outside of the room that you're doing it in, and you can do it in any room in the church as long as it's empty. So then to play it, you will surround your full body mirror with your circle of salt, and then you're going to put your candles around the circle of salt, tie the red rope, wrap it around as many times as you can around the mirror, and light your candles. And then to contact the devil, you actually have to get his attention. It says that some people will spray paint graffiti over like paintings of Jesus, or some people will just turn crosses upside down or rip pages out of the Bible. Whatever offensive thing you decide to do, that's how you get his attention. And then after you do that, you're gonna shut all the doors, turn off all the lights, and go get inside of your protective circle of salt. I actually think this part would be the scariest part of all. You get in your circle of salt, all of the lights are off in a church, and you have to wish for the devil to come, and after you're ready, you close your eyes and count to 10. I would not want to close my eyes, but you close your eyes, count to 10, and then when you open them, it says you should be staring into the eyes of the devil and your reflection will be gone. But the devil will show himself as he wants you to see him, so he won't be like the devil that everyone thinks of. It'll be whatever he decides to appear as, except for it says that his eyes, no matter how hard he tries to hide it, he can't hide the terrifying look of his eyes. So now once you've summoned the devil, you can play your game of questions and answers, and the game is always initiated by him. He asks the first question, but his questions are like riddles and like stupid facts that nobody will ever know, and if you answer it right, he has to answer your next question with the truth. But if you answer it wrong, he can lie about whatever he wants, but he'll never tell you if you got the question right or not. And after the game's finished, you immediately forget all the questions that he asked, so you can't like go up and look up the right answers and see if you got it. He also will ask questions that you have like a vague knowledge of, because obviously if he asks you like crazy questions that you know you're getting wrong, it's going to be easy for you to figure out that he's lying. But if he asks you something that you kind of know, then you'll second guess whether or not he's telling the truth. Or he'll ask you questions about yourself that you will like lie about without knowing that you're lying, so then you think he's telling you the truth when he's not. There are a few other options. So you can give the devil a riddle, and then if he gets it wrong, then he has to answer your next question truthfully. But if he gets it right, then he'll get a pass when you get the question right, so then he can lie to you when he should be telling the truth. You can also ask him for a dare, but it says that dares are generally pretty extreme, like hurting yourself, hurting someone you love, or like public humiliation, or it can be something really tiny that seems super easy and you think it's like a free pass, but it's actually part of like a bigger, like more terrifying thing, like delivering a letter, delivering a message. I guess those are kind of the same thing. It said like scribbling a number inside of a bathroom stall, just little things like that that are part of like a sinister plot. It says if he gives you something easy, do not accept it. If he gives you something hard, probably don't accept it. And don't accept it and not go through with it, because there are consequences to that. But my favorite part of the whole game is it's only allowed to last for 66 minutes and 6 seconds, but you're not allowed to have any time telling devices, which I told you earlier. You can't bring in any clocks or anything like that. So you really have to be careful about how much time you're taking up, and the devil will not tell you if you go over the time. And if you do go over the time limit, he will just smile and leave as soon as you tell him to. All you have to do is thank him to end the game, but he won't let you know that you exceeded the time limit. You won't know until you try to leave the church. And when you try to leave the church, there will be nothing outside of it. If you turn back around and go back into the church, you might still see a reflection in the mirror, because as soon as you go over the time limit, your soul gets trapped in the mirror and the devil gets possession of your body to do whatever he wants until sunrise. And then when sunrise hits, your body will drop dead. You also can't lose sight of the devil in the mirror, because as soon as you look away from him, if you look back, he will be gone, but somewhere in the room. It also says that the devil will try to make like noises behind you to try and get you to look and try to get you to jump and look away from him so that he'll have time to escape the mirror. Personally, after reading about this, I don't see any reason to play this game, to be honest, because like, what are the chances you'll ever get any of the questions he asks you right? Like, I'm sorry. And you can't even remember what he asked you after. You'll never even know if any of these answers are the truth. So what's the point in like risking all of this? And like, you can't have any time telling devices, but you can't go over 66 minutes. I would be paranoid after like 2 seconds in. I would be like, are we at the time limit? Are we at the time limit? No, I would not play this game, and I don't want you guys to play this game, and please don't break into a church. Do you have to break into a church, or do they lock the doors? I don't know. Just don't do it. Up next is the legend of Bloody Mary. I know everyone's already heard of it, but it's my favorite thing to talk about. I love it for some reason. I don't know why. I just can't believe there aren't any really good horror movies about Bloody Mary. So if anyone wants to make one, I would be happy to star in it. Anyways, the roots of the game Bloody Mary stretch back to the 19th century, when it was said that if you walked backwards up a staircase in a darkened house at night, past a mirror, you would either see the person you were destined to marry, or you would see a skull. And if you saw the skull, it meant you were gonna die before you ever got married. You were gonna die alone. If I did this, I would see a skull. 1000%. I wouldn't even need to do it. And then obviously it evolved into the Bloody Mary that we know of today. I can tell you, I have played Bloody Mary so many times, and I've tried every method. Personally, it has never worked. And when I was a kid, at first I was really scared of it, but then when I was like 15 or so, started to get older, I actually really tried to play Bloody Mary a lot of times. I would play it right at midnight. There were a bunch of sources that said either say Bloody Mary 3 times, say it 7 times, or say it 13 times. I played 3 different times doing all of that. No other light source. I was doing it in the basement bathroom at midnight, and there were no mirror or no windows down there. Never got lucky. Nothing ever happened, but I did scare myself pretty badly every single time. So you say Bloody Mary 3 times into the mirror. You're supposed to stare, wait a second. You're not supposed to be within arm's reach of the mirror so that she can't grab you, and all she'll be able to do is scream if you see her. Unless you break the mirror, you cannot break the mirror, because then she can get out. It says after you have to extinguish all of the candles before turning the lights on, and then you can never use the mirror ever again, because there's no real way to keep Bloody Mary away from you after you have summoned her. You might not be able to see her, but she will just always be there, so you can't use the mirror ever again. I think that's the freakiest part, because even after you try it, like, what if she doesn't show herself to you for a reason so that she can stay in your mirror? Because it says you can try to keep her away by putting a cross on the mirror or burning sage, but it's not guaranteed. So what if she just never showed herself to me, and she was just always living in my basement mirror, and I never knew it, and she was watching me? That part freaks me out. I'm so scared of mirrors. I should stop talking about this. Now, if you're talking about who Bloody Mary is, there's tons of different legends. Some people say she's a woman who disappeared while she was hitchhiking mysteriously. Some people say it's a woman who was in a car crash and passed away. Some people think it's the vengeful spirit of a mother who lost her child. Some people think it was Mary, the Queen of England, who reigned from 1553 to 1558. She got her nickname Bloody Mary from mass executions of Protestants. So there's tons of stories. Some people think it's Mary Worth, a woman who was executed for witchcraft, but some people think that it's like a scientific thing. Like you look in the mirror, you freak yourself out, it's dark in there, you only have the light from the candles, and you kind of like morph what you're seeing in the mirror. Okay, so I also found tons of stories of people claiming that they actually did summon Bloody Mary. But I actually know someone personally who claims this, and I have to tell it to you guys. I've been dying to talk about this story, and I think you guys might actually care. My friends don't care. When I was like 16 or 17, I met this girl named Ashley. She's quite a bit older than me, around like 30 or something like that. I met her at my cousin's bridal party. So basically, she had recently bought a house, and in the attic, there were multiple mirrors. This is her story of summoning Bloody Mary, by the way. There were multiple mirrors up in the attic when she moved in, and she brought them down and started like cleaning them up because they were all covered in dust. One of them was really nice, so she put it in her upstairs bathroom, but her house is like really skinny and really tall. So her house has multiple bathrooms, but her very top floor before the attic was literally just like a bathroom. And I did see this in her house. It's just a bathroom, and then there was like a small like hallway outside of it. So there was just like a bathroom, and then the attic was above it, and it kept getting smaller, if that makes sense. So anyway, she put one of these antique mirrors from the attic into this bathroom, and she had just bought her first house. She was living all alone, and she said that she was just messing around one night and decided to play Bloody Mary after reading about it online. She said that it didn't really work, but the candles went out and she didn't see anything in the mirror, immediately turned the light on and moved on. And she claims that after this, her house was like haunted. She said that she would constantly hear somebody up in the top floor of the bathroom. She said that she heard somebody calling her name from upstairs one time. And the craziest story that she ever told me was that one time she was out of the house and she came back home and the police were at her house, and she was like, what the hell is going on? And they were pissed off because she had phoned a furniture store and talked to them a few days prior about picking up a couch or something like that. And the furniture store called back and then called the police because her daughter answered the phone, and her daughter was like 8 years old and left home alone and scared. She was like, I don't have a kid. Like, there's nobody else that lives in that house. The phone shouldn't be answered. And I'm really sorry to tell you guys this and then not know this part of the story. I can't remember if they ever found like a recording of the phone call or anything like that after, or if there was like a record of somebody answering the phone. I do think she looked through the call log and it like showed that there was like a conversation that was like a half an hour long on her phone. That's kind of what I remember, but I remember this story so vividly that she was like, the cops were at her house and they like actually went in and looked around, and nobody was in the house, but somebody answered the fucking phone, and it was like a little girl on the end of the line. I will never stop telling people that story. I still can't believe it, and at first I didn't believe it at all, but the only thing that really gives her credibility in this is that she moved out of the house like instantly. Like, this house was like a fixer-upper, like it was pretty bad, and she moved out before she ever fixed anything and said it was because she was genuinely too scared to live in the house. So like, I totally believe it just because of that. Like, you don't just buy a house and then move out like 6 months later that you were gonna fix up. I don't know. I still think that is insane. I think about that all the time. It's one of the number one things, like, people always ask me, and this is so weird to say, but people are always like, oh, is there one last thing that you would like to tell your mom? I want to tell her this story so bad. Like, it's just, she would be so into it. Anyways, I had to tell you guys that. So that is everything I have for you guys today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm sorry it didn't have a scary vibe to it. I'm sorry, but that bird thing freaked me out. I'm out of it now. And I just smashed my head really hard. I'm genuinely concerned I might have a concussion. So yeah, I hope you guys have a good day. Hopefully I wake up in the morning. Bye!